Andreeva. Number 9, Madison Keys. Number 8 is Victoria Azarenka. Number 7, Marketa Vondrushova. Number 6, Ons Jabeur. Number 5, Jessica Pegula. Number 4, Coco Gauff. Number 3, Iga Swiatek. Number 2, Aryna Sabalenka. And number 1, Elena Rybakina.
Ready? Play.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are tuning in from. As you can see, I've got a bunch of matches already on the screen ready to share with you. Borna Coric and Alves actually have already got underway, with Coric winning the first point. So that's an excellent start for him as he heads inexorably towards the Wimbledon final. Van Asch, Fognini, Garin and Shang are two of the other matches that are also set to get underway, which Damien, just bring yourself forward as soon as you're ready. Which Damien and I will be bringing you over the coming 2, 3, 4 hours. We'll see how it pans out. If you're watching on YouTube, do please hit the like button. If you're watching on Twitter or tuning in via Twitter, feel free to comment and also retweet. I have Jan-Lennard Struff against Marozsan on my screen. I think under that hat, Jan-Lennard Struff has bleached it, I think. Try to bring some colour to the Wimbledon courts.
Are they gonna tell him not to wear it, or?
I mean, shave his head. I think so. I see some sort of blondness coming out.
That has happened, right, in the past. I mean, not necessarily with hair, but
although it might just be the hat. Might just be the hat, which again would be sort of a bit of yellow on the hat. Could be yeah.
I don't think they. Yeah, I mean, I think they changed it I don't know, a year or so ago, right? That they can now have a bit more of color on whatever. I think it was also kind of for the women, right? Because they were
for the women, this sort of undershorts can be black.
Exactly. Yeah. But there was this issue once with Federer. Definitely, he had orange soles or something like that.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
And did he change them?
I think they forced him to. Yeah. 2013, I think it was. So he wasn't in the event for long anyway, right? So
that was the year when he got out. Yeah.
Jarry Sakowski.
Yeah. 30 all.
So you're saying Struff Marozsan is what you're watching first?
I mean,
I'll turn on the grass specialists that I told you about yesterday.
Oh, Bolt and Ruud, yeah. So what's Bolt on grass then? Why is he so bad?
No, I mean, that was just literally a contrast between them. That's what I was pointing to. I mean, Alex Bolt has 116 professional matches on grass, which is actually 5th most in the main draw out of all the players.
That is a lot. Yeah.
And basically, even this year he's 18-2 on grass. So
I might have stupidly tipped Ruud to win that one then.
I think I also went Ruud eventually. It's a weird thing because Casper, if he puts his mind to it, I think he could easily just purely on his quality, he could win a few rounds here. But yeah, I mean, we haven't really seen it from him. We don't know how he's been spending the warm-up, time, right?
Right.
I mean, last year he wasn't. Last year we knew that he wasn't really playing or like practicing even. He was just like going from concert to concert, seemingly based on his social media. This year, no idea. He hasn't played any tournaments in the lead up, so. But yeah, I'm definitely not excluding a Ruud run to like the third or fourth round here. I think he totally can do it, but I have no idea what his mindset is.
I have 2 questions for you. Don't look at the comments yet, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Someone has commented, and I don't know who. So I'm going to go with Jake is the first person to comment. I don't know who it is. I can just see that we've got one comment.
That's a good one. I mean, Jake usually when the stream starts, he kind of just says like Core or Damian or something like that. So it's possible. Ghosty is also the first commenter a lot, but
but look at the time.
Yeah, he might. So yeah, Jake I think is a solid guess. I don't know if I have any other.
Let's have a look. And I'm going to ask you my second question because it's quite important to get it in now. Who will be the first person on the men's side to break serve? I'm going with Garin.
Break serve. Okay, let me look at who's playing because that's kind of important. And also if there's actually no one who broke serve already, because that's important.
Yeah, true.
As well. I mean, definitely not Alex Bolt right now. Garin has a break point, so that's.
Does he? Oh, well, he didn't when I asked the question, or when I.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I'll trust you on this one. But yeah, it looks like it might be Garin. He hasn't broken yet, but he has a break point, which obviously is something already. Get you close to the goal.
I'm going to have a quick look to see who's commented. Oh, it's Keen. Wow, he was way down my bingo card.
Yeah, I was not expecting it to be Keen either, but welcome, mate.
Keen is Keen.
Janvier, Bellucci, and Otto could all win today. Sure, I think Bellucci has an excellent shot at Shelton. Janvier kind of has to make it like the Pecci Pericard match, right? Just like super close on serve and stuff, tie breaks. And Otto, sure. I mean, last year he played a phenomenal match against Purcell. Like that's actually one of his best performances ever, I think, that Lille final. So why not?
I've still gone for Shelton to win. I think there's a game there for him to be okay on grass in the years to come.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He just has zero margins in his game, right? And they're gonna be playing tiebreaks as well, like with Bellucci.
Yeah.
Effectively, Mattia has as big a serve as Ben, kinda, like in a way, because it's because I don't know, he goes more for the angle than the power. Sure, Ben still has rooms to like ways to go as well in terms of his serving. Like it can get even better. And I think effectively, in terms of how they will be holding, it will be a pretty similar thing. Because Ben's return is also like really awful. So,
yeah.
Who out of the top 10 can be upset early? Casper Ruud today. We'll see. Depends on what we mean by early. Like I think Rublev, Musetti, for example, third round, right? That's doable. Zverev, Draper, obviously third round. That's another big upset alert.
I think I have Draper winning that one.
Me too. I think he's the favorite. Yeah, I think on grass he's the favorite over Zverev, and that's also kind of to the question of Keen. Do we exaggerate the differences between grass and the other surfaces? I don't think so. I mean, we definitely aren't treating it as like as if it's 90s, but there's a lot of top quality players who just don't do well there, like Zverev, Rublev, Ruud.
Yeah. I mean, Rublev got to the quarters last year, which is obviously probably
but like, it's not, I know that's kind of his max at other slams as well, but like at other slams, he makes you think, okay, can he actually win the event? Maybe can he make the semis final if it opens up? At Wimbledon, I don't really think it's a possibility. Like, sure, he can make the quarters again, but I just don't think he'll be in the running for anything more.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I'm busy looking at scores and stuff. I should have looked at my big screen because Marozsan has broken for 2-love.
Okay, so was it actually Marozsan or was it Christian Garin? I guess it was Marozsan then.
Maybe. So Garin, did Garin break?
No, he did not. So.
Oh, there you go then.
Well, that game is still going on. So.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a lengthy game.
So it is Fabian Marozsan, yeah. I thought initially when you were going to ask that question, I thought it was going to be who is going to be the first player to win a match today. And that's also a fair question to ask, I think.
Okay. So
let's maybe do both men's and women's, right? Because it would be very unfair if to combine the two.
Yeah, I just feel as though, it would be unfair to combine the two. Although it'd be very funny if one of the men does it quicker than one of the women. But okay, first man to win.
Dimitrov?
I'm just having a look now.
Dimitrov seems the most sensible. It's the most lopsided match of them all. And Dimitrov, I think, seems like
Dimitrov over Leipzig.
And on the women's, I would go Yastremska. We'll see. Only 6 women's matches. 6 women's matches.
You've also got the Sturenko injury possibility.
That's true. Although I did say who will who did I say? Who will finish? Or
yeah.
I guess it's a finish as well. So yeah, Sturenko is a good option as well. Yeah. She can just withdraw. She can just retire.
Yeah. I'll go with Yastremska as well, though. Sorry to be boring. Dimitrov and Yastremska. We'll go with Surenko upsetting the odds and finishing her match.
Thank you, Nulan, I guess. And Danny says he saw a rumor that the grass this year is supposedly playing quicker.
We'll see. I saw that. Yeah.
I think I saw that too. Yeah, I think I saw a tweet about that. And Matthew, yes, I mean Tiafoe is an upset watch, but is it even an upset if Arnaldi beats him? Like, yeah, I don't think we could call it an upset even. Like, it's just a 50-50 match with how mediocre Frances is right now.
Do please hit like if you're watching on YouTube, and if you're new to the channel, hit subscribe. Yes, Tiafoe. To be honest with you, I think I've got Tiafoe winning 2 matches, which is kind of out of the norm for his year so far.
Yeah, I think this year he's kind of winning 1 and losing the second, like 90% of the time.
Okay.
But sure, I mean, who is he playing the second round potentially? I don't remember. But
his opponents, he's got quite a nice draw in that he's avoided a few of the banana skins in my
second round maybe, because first not really.
Yeah. Okay, who's he got in the first round? I've obviously got him to win the first one though.
Arnaldi.
Oh right, okay, Arnaldi. Yeah. That would be a good win for him actually.
For Tiafoe, yeah, sure.
I don't know. That was more of a gut thing that I just thought,
it's a 50-50 match, I think. Obviously, there's no wrong pick in Tiafoe Arnaldi.
A year ago, it would have been a much easier pick.
Oh yeah, second round is really good. Coric, Meligeni, Alves.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true. Yeah, it's a very high chance that whoever wins between Arnaldi and Tiafoe today is gonna make the third round. Yeah, and then you have Carlos. So,
I mean, if we have 1.5 bad days of weather, Matthew, this week, it'll be a huge improvement on last year, I think. Was it last? Yeah, it was last year when I think we
last year was horrible. I don't even remember.
Yeah, it was. The first round, some people are still playing first round on the Thursday, and some people in the third round by then.
Yeah, I think in 2016, maybe, there was this situation where like Federer was playing his third round match, and there were still first round matches not finished. Mm-hmm. Just because, of course, he was always getting the roof, same as Mari.
Yeah.
We have 2 roofs, right?
Yeah. Court 1 has a roof, yeah.
So it's not that bad if we get some rain, but yeah. See, hopefully not. Well, qualifying was like 0 rain delays, So
I mean, last week was gorgeous weather in, I think, lots of mainland Europe. In fact, too hot almost, I think, for some of the players. Certainly in Germany, anyway.
France, for some reason, is pretty horrible. They had this challenger in Blois, which was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, just a week before Wimbledon qualifying, which 95% of it was held indoors. And it was indoor hard courts as well instead of clay, so a big change. And this year there's Troyes, where second day in a row they're also playing indoors. However, indoor clay this time. So for some reason France is kind of out of it, but yeah, otherwise definitely the weather has been. Yesterday I went to Wrocław for that 50K final. And it was 35 degrees all day. So
oh wow.
It was even too horrible. Like it was just, it was too hot. So
Struff losing to Marozsan would be a bad loss for the German. I know it's only the first set, but by the way, what's this about Raducanu's new opponent? What's Nerlan confusing us with right now?
The Alexandrova withdraw?
Don't think
don't
so.
know.
Unless he's talking about Radu Albot, which I don't think wouldn't make sense either.
Okay, yeah, it seems like it.
What, Alexandrova's withdrawn?
Renata? Yamrichova or who? No, Yamrichova was not in the qualifying.
So that's great news for Raducanu and good news for my bracket.
Zarazua. Oh my goodness. I forgot about her. Yeah, okay. Raducanu is going to win this easily. That officially puts an end to my bracket because I picked Alexandrova to the quarters. So.
Oh, I think I have Raducanu getting to the quarters.
That actually could happen now because, well,
yeah,
Alexandrova was a horrible matchup for Raducanu. Zarazua is, well,
so that's
one of the weakest top 100 players in recent times to me. Like, there's just not much she does with the ball in general. So I think it's super good for Emma. Yeah.
This is very disappointing, I have to say.
That kind of shows you how stupid brackets are in general.
Yeah. Very lucky for Emma, says Terry. Donnie, I don't know if you have already subscribed, but please do so.
And Carreño Busta is also out, so Galan is in. I have to update my thread. But yeah.
Carreño Busta, yeah. I saw him practicing last week in Mallorca, and it looked very tentative. It was almost like the kind of practice where you thought he's obviously playing in an hour or two, but he wasn't.
To be honest with you, in Poznan, he was absolutely excellent. Like, physically, he was better than Mike Shaq in that second round match. He just lost it from 4-1 up in the third double break, but it wasn't physical whatsoever. So, yeah, I'm kind of surprised. But, yeah, grass, he actually has never won a Wimbledon match, which I think is a little harsh, even on his grass game. He had some tough draws. But, yeah, looks like maybe he never will.
Jake, there was a comment, or we had a little, Damien and I had a friendly bet on who would be the first person or friendly decision on who would be the first person to comment, Jake, and we both said you. So yes, even though we only been live 15 minutes, you are, by your standards, extremely late. Struff not making any impression on the Marozsan serve in this particular game thus far. Going to see if my stream and the Wimbledon scoreboards.
I went for a run like an hour ago, and I come back, and Alexandrova is out, Carreño Busta is out.
The Alexandrova one, though, that's
what's happening?
Put a dent in the day. But yes, very lucky for Emma. I would agree with that, Terry. Seems like an illness. We've had 2 breaks for G over Begu. I haven't really mentioned much about the women. I've gone for Chapo to beat Jarry.
I think I did too, but I mean, I hate the matchup for him. You know, it's just that I don't know. I guess I just would like to see a Shapovalov run soon somewhere.
I've gone for Kessler to beat Sakari.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think of Sakari at all going into this event. Like, I don't think of her positively. I don't think of her negatively. I think she's just not a factor, and I don't really care.
I do think of her negatively, but just because. I mean, I think her losing in the first round here almost wouldn't be too bad. It's when she loses in the first round to opponents on courts and surfaces where she should be doing better. Is when it would really hurt, I think. So this is my quarterfinal lineup for the women. Don't know if you can see this. I'm showing it on the screen.
I'll see it now. I actually have Kudermetova there as well. Like, it's kind of stupid because her form is awful.
I've got her
but the draw is good enough. And
along
with her grass pedigree, like, it actually makes me think she might kind of turn it around. I also have Kudermetova there, which is pretty funny. And I think I put her
in the final last year.
I only have one more difference, I think. Well, 2 more differences, which is Alexandrova instead of Raducanu. But if I was picking Raducanu to beat Alexandrova, maybe I would have had her in the quarters. And also I picked Jabber over Pegula. But otherwise, we have the same quarters.
You have Madison Keys, Coco?
Yeah.
So you have Sabalenka, Alexandrova.
Yeah.
You have Pegula, Rybakina.
Rybakina, Jabeur.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So you got Jabeur beating Pegula in that match. Yeah. I lean Pegula. I've got Pegula breaking her quarterfinal hoodoo in beating. But again, that's just me thinking. I've just got an image of Rybakina in a third set with her head in her hands, and she's already played a couple of 3-setters en route, and she's just feeling a bit off. And Pegula, yeah. Who was it I was talking about? Oh, I know who it was. Who's not good in tight matches? Kalinskaya. There was a match I've got her losing in, and I was just thinking, yeah, too many tight 3-setters for Kalinskaya, and she's going to go out. Anyway, so then I've got Pegula Swiatek. Well, I'm going to I've shared 2 pictures on Twitter because by seeing my final, you then know who I have winning the other quarterfinals, and that's my Wimbledon women's final there.
Yeah, that's where we differ. I went to Rybakina and Keys.
Okay, yeah. And so you got Rybakina winning it. Keys in her first ever Grand Slam final. And you have Sabalenka, Keys in the semi-final, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so and you've got, that's a repeat, of course, of the US Open, which Keys, of course, should have won. Just don't ever mention it to Madison Keys in a press conference, or you might be in a bit of bother like I was in
Thankfully, me and Madison have never met. But yeah.
I found her quite prickly. But
our chances to meet aren't that high, given that the chances I'll be at a WTA Tour event, I wouldn't rate them too highly.
Dimitrov is broken, so he wasn't far behind in the race to break. Although I think we've gone for him first to win in the men's matches. The women's matches, oh yeah, we went for Yastremska. Okay, so here are my men. Here's my men's bracket for the quarterfinals. Do let us know in the live chat who you've got either getting to the quarterfinals or winning the tournament.
I think I only have one difference to you there.
Really? Just one?
I think so, yeah.
I'm going to guess which one it is.
No, sorry, 2, but that's because one of my crazy picks was Berrettini over Sinner in round 2.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And that actually, by the way, changes to me like who wins the entire event. Because if Sinner beats Berrettini, then Sinner wins the title. And if Sinner loses, then Alcaraz wins the title. But I only have one difference, kind of like, if I was doing it fully seriously and not pick Berrettini over Sinner, then I only have one difference to yours, yeah.
And I don't think it's Djokovic. I wouldn't normally think it's Hurkacz, but he's got de Minaur in the previous round. I reckon you've got. I reckon you've got Tommy Paul in there.
I do.
Yeah. Maybe you didn't have Medvedev getting that far.
I actually did, but yeah, I understand how it's like.
His draw is quite good.
Where you could go for something else, but I did actually. Yeah.
So, well, I mean, now I'd just be guessing. It's 50-50 out of Fritz and Corda, so you might as well just tell me. I'm going to say you've got Hurkacz there.
No, I get it. Like, I think Hurkacz de Minaur is a 50-50, but I went with Draper instead of Fritz, simply.
Okay.
And a Corda Draper quarter. However, I have to say that, like, Davidovich Fokina withdrawing isn't even good for Corda. It isn't even good for Corda. We have this beautiful saying in Polish, and I'm trying to find an English equivalent. And that saying is deszczu pod rynnę, which basically means, so instead of being in a horrible situation, you go into an even worse one. And that saying in Polish is like, instead of the rain, you're going under this pipe that just, throws
out
water.
The frying pan, out the frying pan into the fire.
That's a good one. Yeah, sure. Yeah. That's actually it, yeah.
And you say out of the rain and under a pipe?
Like a pipeline, just not a pipeline, like a pipe that just makes you even wetter, and that's kind of what Corda has.
Drain pipe, maybe drain pipe.
Drain pipe. That's kind of what Corda has here instead of Davidovich Fokina getting Pecci Pericard in the first round. From what was a very tricky opening round draw, he just got an even worse one.
You think so? You think it's worse than Davidovich Fokina?
I mean, obviously, right? Like, You don't want to play Pecci card ever. Like just any server like this. Like there's gonna be zero rhythm. There's gonna be zero like way of showing you're a better quality player all around. It's just like a tiebreak lottery every time. So,
can you guess who I've got winning the title and who is beating the final?
I mean, you definitely have. I already saw that you have Sinner Alcaraz, and I actually picked Hurkacz over Djokovic. So you have Djokovic there against Fritz, was it?
Yeah.
In the semis. So you probably picked Djokovic to the final, and I would assume that you picked Sinner and Sinner to win.
Alcaraz, same as the last year.
I think if you have a semi-final between Sinner and Alcaraz, it's similarly as at Roland Garros. So like at Roland Garros, it was a 51-49 for Carlos, but it was very clear where that 1% goes. And it's the same thing here, just the other way around.
See, I made the Roland Garros comparison, or got a break point for Struff, 4-2 Marozsan, break point Struff. I made the comparison, despite the obviously surfaces being wildly different and everything else. I still just thought, oh, and Struff is broken after a Marozsan backhand unforced error. So we are back on serve now for the man with, I could be a beat. Oh, there's Carlos coming into the grounds. Weirdly enough, I made a comparison with that Roland Garros semi-final, and I'm leaning on that as part of the reason why I'm going Alcaraz again. I just think his 5-set record is insane. I would be surprised if one or the other player won in straights. Alcaraz, a little bit less pressure on him right now. I'm not saying there's a lot of pressure on Sinner either, having sort of got his slam now at Roland Garros. Yeah, I mean, it is very, very close, but and I'm probably just trying to convince myself of an Alcaraz win. But then Alcaraz Djokovic, I think Djokovic's draw is a dream, certainly for the first week. I think his fourth round is tricky. Oh, Rune, that's what I've got him beating Rune in the fourth round.
Yeah, I don't really believe in Rune there. Like, I don't know. Just getting to the fourth round already would be good for Holger. Quentin Wallace is my fourth round pick, I think. So, yeah, basically that's how much belief I have in Holger here. And Djokovic, I just picked him to lose to Hurkacz. Of course, it's not impossible that he will get to the final. But personally, I have zero confidence right now that Novak would defeat Yannick or Carlos in the final.
Vanessa, the application that we are using is TNNS. TNNS. In fact, it's a bit late, unfortunately, to invite you for this particular tournament, but there are tournaments coming thick and fast. So even though you've got to wait a week or two to enter the next one, there will be one. I'm going to share it in the live chat now, and you can join our fantasy league. So there you go. And you can compete against all of us and see who comes out on top. Donnie and Vanessa as well. If you haven't done so already, please do hit subscribe. How was ATP Weekly? I missed it.
Well, it was a blast, of course.
I mean, I joined in the first 20 or listened to the first 20 minutes, so it's not, I didn't miss all of it. But yeah, I guessed it would be a blast.
Yeah, we did go on for like an hour and a half, I think, eventually. And well, I don't know. It was a usual ATP Weekly. Had a lot of fun.
Hour 27.
Mentioned some challenger players in there from time to time. Some good stories.
I don't think I even put a headline. I think I just put Wimbledon preview. How do Mallorca and Eastbourne affect our thinking going into this tournament? Because sometimes with these 250s on the eve of a slam, you then sort of get... Oh, he has bleached his hair because he's just taken his hat off and put it back on again. So Struff has bleached his hair. So there we go. I'm sure everyone wanted to know. Yeah, do we go with, if they win the title there, if they have good runs in that tournament, then they should be set fair for Wimbledon? Do we go, well... Sometimes
I mean, to me, Jab had a very random run. He can win a match at Wimbledon, but,
I've got him winning a match.
Making ATP Tour semis.
I've got him winning a match.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing Shapovalov. Obviously, he can win this. But, it's not really going to, like, translate to him suddenly being, that level above and just, I don't know, skipping challengers or something like that. like Max Purcell making the final in Eastbourne. I think he can easily lose to Virtanen today. Like, doesn't really mean much to me
I've got him
either.
losing, yeah.
Fritz winning, sure, it's good momentum for him, but if Taylor just skips the entire week, we would probably still be thinking of him in the very same way. So
Probably,
I don't think that the stories from Mallorca or Eastbourne really like translate to.
Tabilo, does it change your thoughts of him? By the way, Struff is on a bit of a roll at the moment. It was love 30, it's now 15-30. But he's really getting some nice returns in, and that should set him up to win this point, and it does. So it's got 2 break points for Jan-Lennard Struff. All about the
I'll
return
say something
there.
about Tabilo. This year, he's just kind of following this pattern, right? I mean, he won Auckland just before Australia, lost to Kovacevic. He made Rome semis a week before Roland Garros. He lost to Bergs in the opening round. Well, I mean, history kind of tells us he doesn't necessarily take it to the slam. Of course, he might. I mean, he's playing Dan Evans, who is more than likely not even fit. So
I've got him beating Evans. Did he win a tournament just before Roland Garros? Or did he do well somewhere just before Roland Garros?
Semis in Rome, right? I mean, a week before Roland Garros, with a week of a break, let's say. But like, yeah, it is a bit of a pattern now that Tabilo does super well just before the slam, and then
Struff again punishes that serve and breaks for 5-4. So Struff will be serving for the first set, which, bearing in mind he was 4-1 down, it's a huge difference. Are there any double specialists that you think should have played more singles? Is that in general or just leading into this tournament?
Probably general, right? For years, I was saying William Blumberg. And, well, he's not doing it, even though he promised at some point, so I guess he's not gonna. Drzewiecki, Keen, are you thinking of Drzewiecki? He could, I guess. I mean, he's clearly much better right now in doubles than he was. I mean, right now, he's clearly much better in singles than when he was focusing on it. Segerman is playing a lot of singles still. But yeah, I don't know. From the top guys, probably there's not that many, right? I mean, most of them just kind of, when they show up there, they're not that competitive.
Dimitrov is doing quite well in the race to finish first. He's sort of not quite on par. We probably need him to get another break to really race. But yeah, Stremska's doing her bit, although I did see that Zhu is yet to even lose a game. She's up a set and a break, having won the first set 6-love.
Okay. Yeah, she might be first then, although they are in a pretty tight race, I suppose.
Does Ben Roth often mention this Bolt in a match? I know it's a thing.
Yeah. He's one of the guys, along with Ricky Dimon, I think. They are the two who like talk about it all the time.
Who's the other one who talks about it all the time? Who?
Ricky Dimon. He has that
Ricky Dimon,
the website. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe it's Diamond. I don't know.
But I know
pronunciation of surnames is kind of a guessing game, but
it is. Yeah, a good serve there from Struff to see out the first set 6-4. So he wins 5 games in a row. Marozsan will serve first at the beginning of the second set. But now this just feels like, yeah, this is going exactly how we'd imagined. If you didn't know how the first...
Did you see Shapo?
No, what's happened?
6-1.
Oh, okay. That's... I went with Shapo partly because I've got some sort of goodish feelings about him. Like, not expecting him to make the semis or anything like he did in 2021, but I'm expecting him to win some matches like he did last year. I think he got to the 4th round last year. Beating, of course,
4 for third, right? Because he was in that root section.
He beat Brody in the third, I think.
Beat Kasper, but then Brody beat...
Yeah,
and then Shapo beat Brody, and Shapo lost to Safiurin, but he was injured already in that match and never played anything else in 2023.
And Jarry just feels like, yeah, you know.
I mean, last year he was almost going 5 with Alcaraz.
Oh yeah. But you know, a year. So, Sakuri's on the verge of. Are we going to get an upset? Is Sakuri going to beat Kessler?
Yeah, as I said, like I'm just really not thinking much about Sakari. Like, she will lose, and to me it's a non-story at Wimbledon, at least.
Tiafoe serving for the first set. So I'm just looking at this. I had Struff to beat Marozsan. I had Thompson to beat Kotov. I had Tiafoe to beat Arnaldi. Shapo to beat Jarry. I had Kessler to beat Zachary, so that's not looking so good. I think I had Van Ash beating Fognini, but he's won the first set 6-1.
I think when I was doing it, it was still Kepfer in the draw. So
I went with Minnen over Watson, and I think I changed my mind about 4 times between Townsend and Pavlyuchenkov, and I can't remember which one I landed on in the end. I think I might have gone for Pav. So, yes, keeping you up to date with all the scores, which, of course, at the beginning of a Grand Slam is a bit tricky. Tsurenko is yet to retire. Dimitrov won the first set 6-3 over Lajovic. And Bolt and Ruud are on serve at 4-5 with the Australians serving.
Let's get Tsurenko retirement watch.
Yeah, there's upset watch and then there's retirement watch. And Zhu is still yet to lose a game. 8 games now. Her
and Raducanu is in that Sakari section. That's why she has a really good draw. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I thought that was a weird loss for her against Kazatkina. Did not see that coming at all. I know it was a bit windy and a lot of people were sort of putting that. Maybe she also just thought, this is...
I mean, let's not overrate Raducanu either, right? I mean, why would she have to beat Kasatkina?
Yeah, maybe I know Kazatkina's made a final on grass before. I don't think she's won a title on grass. Am I right with that one?
I think she might have, like Birmingham or something like that. I don't know.
I think she made the final there. Made the final in Eastbourne last year as well before losing to Madison Keys. I think she was on a run of losses in finals as well. We've just lost a subscriber. Maybe it's because I was so disrespectful to Maria Sakkari. $30-all here at the beginning of the second set on Marozsan's serve. An early break for Struff. And that's a decent serve, though, that time for Marozsan. So it's 40-30. I've got Sonego doing all right as well. Again, it must be draw related because I don't have any great vibes to him. I think I've got him in the 4th round, maybe 3rd round, 4th round.
He got the easiest seat possible, right? So,
who's he playing? Which seat is he playing?
Navone.
Okay, yeah, that's who I've got with me.
And he's also in the root section. This is the one that both Tommy Paul and Carlos Alcaraz are so delighted that it's close to them.
Mm-hmm. Garasheva is serving for the first set. Garin and Shang remain on serve.
Okay, I updated the Garin thing, and I can keep watching Bolt Ruud now. I mean, there's nothing been happening really. Like Kasper, especially maybe in his 2024 version, I'm kind of thinking that maybe this is the year where he can actually win a few matches at Wimbledon, as he's playing so much more aggressively, right? And I don't know, just the sheer pace on his serve and forehand is gonna give him something, but so far they're just 5 games all.
In all the podcasts and chats and discussions and thoughts and brackets you've been doing over the last 72 hours or so, who is the qualifier that you sort of have good feelings about most on the men's side?
Oh my goodness, John. Do I remember?
I don't have anyone getting to like the quarters or stuff. I think I've just gone for a bunch.
Me neither, of course.
But I don't know if they've even got one in the 4th round either.
Let me check. I think I tweeted about this. Oh, Alice, for example. Yeah, I had Alice in the 4th round.
Quinton Hallis, okay.
Yeah.
I nearly met Jurgen Klopp, it turns out. I don't know how I would have been, bearing in mind my allegiances.
I believe I tweeted about this, or like more or less about this. Of course, there's a fair few who could win a match, but I don't think there was anyone who I was kind of like, yeah, other than Alice, who I picked very deep. This was right after the draw. I'll find it in a second. Oh yeah, Haris Bellucci. Yeah, just either of Haris Bellucci, because they can beat Shelton. That's kind of the thing. And I think that Shelton section also has like another pretty vulnerable seat somewhere. So yeah, like Haris or Bellucci, I think going deep is pretty possible. And maybe if someone upsets Tommy Paul, like I kind of have a good feeling about Azizu Bergstrand, but yeah, just against Tommy Paul, of course, he would need to execute his game at like a crazy high standard. Same goes for Virtanen if he wants to beat Tommy Paul. So I didn't pick it, but I think it's possible. Like I think Tommy's game just kind of leaves the door open for some very aggressive player to potentially beat him if they have like a perfect day at the office, which of course does not have to happen whatsoever. Maybe we'll actually see Bergs and Virtanen losing today. Who knows?
Yeah, I think I might have Bergs winning his first round match and then going out second round.
Who?
I think I've got Bergs winning his first match and then going out second round.
Second round is Bublik or Menchik. Yeah, that section is just insane in general. Like you've got Tommy Paul, you've got Virtanen, you've got Purcell, you've got Bergs, Kazo, Menchik, Bublik. The only player I didn't mention from it is Pedro Martinez because, well, Pedro Martinez is not beating Tommy Paul today. But the other six players, like they're all super dangerous. So I think that section in general is like so fragile because, well, for one thing, of course, Tommy is super solid, but he also, to me, can't really go above a certain level. And there's just so much talent involved in, all the other players really who are not as consistent as he is, obviously, but they can kind of match his top game on a good day.
I don't know why Jake is annoyed with Minnen not holding on to a lead. And does she have a habit of not holding on to leads? I mean, I know she was up an early-ish break in her match. And maybe he doesn't like Heather Watson. I don't know. Although Heather Watson's facing 2 break points, so that's good news for Minnen and her faithful. 15-40. Pavlyuchenkova for Townsend remain on serve.
I think Jake just wants Heather Watson to win. That's probably.
No, he's saying FFS, as in like he's frustrated.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But he said something about Watson earlier. I thought, maybe not. Never mind.
But I'm just sharing on the screen this Marcus Willis interview that she's doing quite well with the number of views.
Which player gets the least out of their serve? Where you think it could be very good? Gotta be Echeverry, right? Just given physicality.
Yeah, Willis. That was the anniversary of the 8-year anniversary of Willis beating. Willis. That would have been sensational. Willis playing Federer on centre court. It was the 8-year anniversary on Saturday, which was nice. A nice coincidence for us, let's say, because it made it even easier. I mean, you obviously, if you're going to have 3 questions with Willis, you've got to have one of them about Federer.
Kind of have to, yeah. Although I imagine he might be pretty like, no, I'm not annoyed, but yeah. I mean,
no, but bored of it. But if you've got the 8-year anniversary hook.
Oh yeah, I mean on an anniversary, sure, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, and he didn't know, and I could see the way the question was going. With first of all, it's the anniversary. It sort of does suggest today is the day. But you might just go, well, yeah, 2016, 2020, because actually he honed in on, is it 7 or 8 years ago? Yeah, 8 years, I guess. And then I think either he clocks it or she kind of repeats it with like, yeah, to the day. He's like, oh, really? 8 years to the day? 20. He goes 20, and then he knows the date. Goes 29th of June. Oh yeah, he remembers the day 8 years ago. He just didn't know that day on Saturday was the 29th of June.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I also have to mention, anytime we talk about this, I have to mention the lineup of players he beat in the qualifying because it's insane.
Go on.
Andrei Rublev, Daniil Medvedev, and Yuichi Sugita, who also won a grass title, right? Like around that time.
That would be the next question then. That would be the next question about Rublev and Medvedev in particular. That's cool. So we played 2 Grand Slam champions in 4 matches.
Yep. And one more top 10 player, one more guy who also won an ATP Tour title on grass. And, 5 matches because he beat Berankis in the first round as well in the main draw.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So 5 matches, of course, yeah. And, guys won multiple 1,000 titles as well in Andre Rublev. Keen's got a question here which really could go in either direction. I don't know. I don't see it really. I don't see like a bunch of grass courts popping up in Latin America, for example.
Yeah, I don't think grass tennis will be getting any more popular, to be honest.
I don't care about this 1,000 thing. I think it's just too easy for people to just jump on a train sometimes. It doesn't matter.
I find it okay how the grass swing looks now. I mean, it used to be even 1 week less.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm totally fine with it. Yeah, it's gonna be tough to maintain, but I think we should just for the tradition of it, and kind of being a novelty surface right now. I'm fine with it. And also, I don't think there's gonna be more grass. I think if anything, we'll be getting away from it. Hopefully not, but yeah, more grass probably not. Although actually, in the last 2 or 3 years, there have been 2 grass court venues in Poland opened up. So.
Oh, Jake is basically saying he doesn't really mind who wins out of Watson and Greenan.
Okay.
Minnen side Minnen.
Month Goat, yeah, again. And Kren today, right, against Manarino, you kind of have to like his chances. Manarino having such an awful season.
I think I've got Manarino.
I mean, Monfils is the betting favorite, and I think deservedly so.
There you go. That's maybe where Mallorca comes into play.
Kinda. I mean, mostly it's how trash Manarino has been the entire grass season. Because you don't expect it from him, right? I mean, over the course of his career, he had awful clay seasons, and then he always stepped it up for the grass. And it doesn't seem like it will happen this time. I mean, he only beat Napolitano from like double breakdown in the second set, and then he loses the other 3 matches. Dimitrov only gives him 3 games. So maybe it's just over, Maybe he had a one last hooray last season. I don't know.
Also, of course, there must be a lot of grass courts in Australia because, I just feel like there must be.
Yeah, there's a lot of grass courts in Australia. Alex Bolt, I mentioned his record on grass earlier. He's 18-2, and 10 of these wins are ITFs in Australia in March. There's Swan Hill, there's Darwin for sure. Australia also used to play a Davis Cup on grass quite a lot when it was the home away scenario. They were inviting, other countries to Australia because, well, first of all, jet lag and also grass. And
I know that usually the Australian Open and the US Open both used to be grass, right?
Yeah.
And when did they both change the same year?
US Open basically had 2 changes in the 70s. So Jimmy Connors won a US Open title on clay, grass, and hard courts. Whereas Australia changed a bit later. Australia also was played in Kooyong for a while, right? And then I think it changed around 88, maybe.
Did you see the spat? Well, I don't know whether you want to call it a spat, but certainly curious chat between Becker and Holger Rune on Twitter yesterday.
I saw Boris's original tweet. I didn't see what Holger said in response. By the way, there's a tiebreak between Bolt and Ruud, and Kasper just has a mini break for 1 up. He won a pretty crazy point where he lobbed Alex. But yeah, it's been super tight, but it seems like that 1 mini break might be what decides the tiebreak for now. And yeah, what did Holger say in response? Because I saw the Boris tweet sort of about Patrick and whether he's still involved.
I think that it suggests, so Holger's response was like, why didn't you just text me this instead of asking, yes, he's with me. And then Boris' response would go, oh. Yeah, it is a fair point. And probably if Holger doesn't respond at all, maybe we don't realize it or think about it. But because of that response, I also think that maybe the split wasn't as, as like between Becker and Rune.
I don't know about the split, but it seems like they might not be in very close contact, right? It kind of seems like Boris well, it was more natural.
Well,
for him
he
to
says
ask
that
the
we do
winner than
text a bit. So actually, that's another part of his tweet. He says, well, we do text from time to time.
Oh, okay.
Super strange you don't ask me this directly, as we text together about other stuff. And I just wonder if Holger feels, and maybe it's true, that basically Becker doesn't like Mouratoglou or doesn't like it's suggesting to me that maybe Holger thinks that Becker's poking a bit in terms of like, oh, maybe like a bit like you and your girlfriend split up for whatever reason, and then your girlfriend is with someone else, and then you see your girlfriend at a party, but she's not with him, or something like this, and you go, oh, did you split up? You know, as in like, ooh, I'm quite pleased about this potential breakup. No, we're still together. Thank you very much. Oh, okay. All right. Well, good luck.
Bolt's game has really unraveled in the tiebreak. 1-4, he hit a double fault, and now Casper on the next point also like forces him into this like tricky positions on the stretch, and it's 6-1 Casper, 5 set points, 3 of them on serve. So it's looking really nice for Casper so far to take the first set.
And Arnaldi has a bunch of set points in a tiebreak over Tiafoe, although Tiafoe saved one of those set points. I think Tiafoe was up a break on Arnaldi, actually.
He was serving for the set.
Yeah. Oh, dear. I think his confidence is rock bottom right now. Did he come back from 6-1 or 6-2 down in a tiebreak in Australia a couple of years ago? Or did he lose a 6-1 or 6-2 advantage?
Oh, you're talking about the one we watched in Bonn against Khachanov? I guess he must have lost that since Khachanov won the match.
Yeah. Just in a very weird bounce off a serve from Marozsan, which really helped. So, yeah, Shang has won the first set over Garin. So those break point, or that break point he had at the beginning of the match, didn't work out, and certainly didn't work out in terms of the set. Dimitrov is up a set and a break, and Casper Ruud has won the first set tie break over Bolt. Tiafoe has saved another set point over Arnaldi, although Arnaldi's finally got the job done. 7-6. Okay, 7 games to 6. Obviously, the tiebreak was to 5. Begu has won a game over Zhu. Not that it makes a huge amount of difference because she's very much staring down the barrel.
Yeah, and Casper got that set. 10 aces, 91% first serve points won. He actually was the only player who had to save breakpoints, despite better serve stats than Bolt in general. But Bolt didn't take these 3 chances, and Casper takes the first set in the tiebreak.
Quinn, I agree that she is overdue a good one. Quinn, by the way, I thought you were in the US for some reason, but maybe you're in the UK. I don't know.
Just he has to wake up for the Monfils one.
Yeah.
Do we have any winners yet?
No, not yet. I mean,
Jastremska or Zhu, no? No.
Zhu is the one.
Okay, looks like Zhu might be. Looks like Zhu might be faster. I saw she was like 3-love up when we were talking about it, but I figured, I mean, it's probably gonna get closer. It's not getting closer now.
There was something I was gonna say. Don't know.
Dimitrov, I think, is the only player who is up a set and a break, so that bet is looking pretty cool.
Yeah, in terms of when we end this particular show, I guess I've got 4 or 5 matches mentioned in the title.
Yeah, but there's also gonna be a stream from Alcaraz Layal, right? So I don't know if you want to go right beside it or not. I don't know what your strategy is with that.
I will. I'm fine with overlapping because it won't be.
Okay.
I
mean, they won't be overlapping for the entire duration of it.
You wouldn't have thought so unless Alcaraz gets the job
done. Well, yeah, sure. It could, of course, sure. But yeah, I mean, we'll figure it out on the fly, right?
Give me a percent on the chance of like Layal, is it? Is that how it said? Layal winning a set?
Winning a set? Still not that high. I mean, definitely less than 50.
Oh, yeah, I was thinking 20.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's fair. I mean, he would have to serve out of his mind for a set, and then it's possible. But yeah, winning 3 sets, I actually find it like almost 0%. But yeah, serving out of his mind for a set, I think it's doable for him. He's got the talent for it, but I still don't really think he'll do it.
Oh wow, Quinn is in the US. He's in Florida. Well, I'm guessing it's about 6 or 7 in the morning.
Yeah, I think Florida is New York time, right? So
is it? I thought it might be an hour different, but okay.
I think so. I'm not positive, but
Ooh, Matthew's got Rude in the 4th round, which will be.
I think I had 2, Matthew. I think I had 2. Yeah, at the beginning of the show, I said that like purely on quality, he can probably win a few rounds if he like really wants to, right? Because last few years he didn't care for grass whatsoever. We don't know who what sort of headspace he is in right now. But especially, I was thinking of that more aggressive 2024 Casper version. And to me, just purely on like serve and forehand, he can make his way through a few rounds. So I think I also had him in the 4th round. I don't think he can beat Tommy Paul grass, but I think he can easily make the 4th round if he like really puts his mind to it.
There is an update to this, actually, Jagan, to answer your question, because we've also got Eddie on for Alcaraz, Layal, and Raducanu, although I need to change, of course, the title and probably thumbnail, or definitely thumbnail for that one, because it's no longer Alexandrova.
So you didn't decide to just skip it because it's Zarasua?
No, although you're right. Yeah, but no, I'll stick with it. Just have to change.
No, Emma definitely gets a lot of views and clicks.
Yes,
I think it would be good for Emma to win this match without any issues. I think she will, but if she loses it, if she doesn't take an opportunity like this, it will be pretty brutal.
Yeah.
I think Ruud just won a pretty insane point. Yeah. There was a backhand smash from Alex Bolt, and he kind of barely tracks it down. Bolt is just looking pretty like, annoyed, but in a, let's say, in a more funny way, right? Like, we're like, I don't believe this guy. How does he get to that shot? And well, yeah. But yeah, I mean, so far Bolt is holding up okay. Just, I don't know, with every single set he loses like this, right? It was close. You kind of stop believing in the upset even more. Kotov won the first set over Jordan Thompson. Yuncheng Shang as well, up a set and a break on Garin. Although it's a very early break in the 2nd set. It would be funny if you said that Christian Garin will break first and then he never breaks in the entire match, right? That would be. No, he actually broke twice in the. No, sorry, no, yeah, actually Shang has only had 1 breakpoint so far. Had to save 1 breakpoint so far, and he hasn't been broken.
Yeah.
I of course I would be very surprised. I don't think it would be your fault at all, but yeah, I would be very surprised that happens, given that Jarry is not the biggest server. And Casper Ruud will have to save 2 breakpoints here in the 2nd game of the 2nd set. He kind of snapped at 2 forehands in a row, just tried to take them like on the run, and it was a pretty huge fail. But yeah, 2 breakpoints here. 2nd serve as well on the first one. Bolt had 3 breakpoints in the 1st set, didn't take any. So maybe this is his chance to like really get into the match. But he won't return the 2nd serve. Casper actually risking it quite a lot, going down the tee on the 2nd serve. I don't know. I don't think I see the speed gun here. Maybe it is on the court, but I just don't see it on camera. But I would suspect that's like way more than an average 2nd serve from Casper. And he also has 1 more breakpoint to save here. Another good serve. And again, Bolt will kind of throw out a similar return. Forehand just can't quite absorb the pace of the serve, and it just flies long uncontrollably. So again, Casper saves breakpoints, and indeed there is a speed gun on this court. They just didn't show it to me after the previous 2nd serve.
The timing of this illness for Alexandrova, I mean, how unfortunate is that?
Pretty horrible, yeah. Great grass quarter. Last year she made the 4th round. It was definitely a picturesque route. I mean, she made 90 unforced errors against Brengel and still won. But then, of course, Sabalenka kind of beat her even easier than we thought she would. But yeah, for someone like Alexandrova who kind of specializes in courts conditions like this, it's brutal.
Seems to be a bit of a running theme at the moment that the English are getting away with things, let's say, in a sporting world.
Yeah, Alexandrova getting injured is like that Bellingham shot.
Yeah.
Getting injured, getting sick, but yeah.
The last minute withdrawal of Alexandrova, yeah. Yeah.
There are these accounts on Twitter where like have images that precede very unfortunate events or something like that. And there should be that Bellingham goal when he lines up for it, and also just just maybe the draw, Alexandrova Raducanu.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the Alexandrova one would be a tweet from some well-known tennis journalist.
Oh yeah, that is such a good match.
I expect big things for Alexandrova at this year's Wimbledon.
Yeah, something like that. You could probably find a tweet like this somewhere. I mean, maybe not from a big account, but
there was a meme about Yannick Sinner's inability to play top 10 players. I think about September of last year. It was a meme of showing a bear that was huge when it was like Sinner against non-top 10 players, and it was like obviously.
Yeah, I know the template.
Yeah, the template. Yeah. And then things got a little bit better for Yannick anyway.
They kind of did.
So Zarazua lost to Kessler in qualifying. And she had to get 3 sets over Selek Metova in the previous round.
I just found a slice of salami on the floor. Funny enough, I don't think I've eaten salami for about a week. So that tells you how clean it is at my house. I have to say, I mean, sure, I think Ruud will still win this match. Some of his like backhand slice defense is so clunky that it's even uncomfortable to watch. Well, I guess that's just not a play he really goes for, right, on clay or on any slower hard court whatsoever. But I mean, this time he made it work. He like actually got a ball later on from Bolt because of it. Like he actually got a forehand he could crack. So I mean, I guess he's doing fine.
So I'm going to give you 2 developments that I should have given you the first one before. Struff broke Marozsan at 4-all, but now Marozsan has 3 break-back points with Struff trying to serve out this second set. So and he's got a second serve to look at here as well. So love 40 on the Struff serve. Down the tee as a second serve ace. Went big on that one.
Maybe he can do a Zizou Bergs.
What's the Zizou Bergs?
Second round against Pierre Gerber in the qualifying. He was love 40 down in the last game, trying to serve it out, and Herbert didn't make a return for the next 5 points. It was 5 first serves in a row, and like 2 of them were aces. Most of them were just very tough to return.
And he's just got 2. I think he's just got 2 aces in a row now, Struff.
He's definitely thinking about that Zizou Bergs match for sure right now. I'm sure he watched it.
Yeah.
And Ruud also has a breakpoint. He's first in the match. Both was trying to serve and volley.
Sorry, Zerd with a forehand there. So Marozsan has
no worries.
back 5-all.
No worries. Alex Bolt kind of saves the breakpoint in like the most predictable manner ever, right? So if you're a lefty, you go out wide on the outside and you just play the forehand into the other corner. Thank you. That's kind of actually that's actually also how he saved the match point in the qualifying against Leandro Ridi. So it's probably like 50% of the points that Alex Bolt wins in general. So well on serve at least.
Are they still on serve in that match? In the second set?
Well, yeah, because he saved that breakpoint, yes. And Casper saved 2 in the game before.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, sometimes Alexandrova withdraws and you get Zarazua, and sometimes Davidovich Fokina withdraws and you get Pechi
Pelikan, yeah.
Or even Jorge Rixport, to be honest. He was supposed to play Carreño Busta, and now he's gonna play Galan, who was in the third round 2 years ago, in the fourth round last year.
Yeah.
So instead of a guy who has a 0-6 record at Wimbledon, he gets a guy who had a big run 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
I don't think it matters. Like, I still think Rixport will win. But in the case of Korda, it might matter. In the case of Raducanu, it would be like another match with... who was it? It was Maria Carle that she played in Madrid, right?
Yeah,
like if she loses to Zarazua, it would be a similar story, I think, where like people will be so disappointed with it.
Oh, I think that it'll get a bigger reaction just because the British media.
I know Wimbledon. It will, yeah. Only maybe if like, because Carla was 2-6, right, and it was like never really close.
In the tennis world and tennis Twitter, maybe it'd be a similar meltdown, but you just wouldn't get the tabloids writing.
Oh yeah, obviously, yeah. No, you're right. Of course, yeah. It'd be massive headline if she loses. It's probably a massive headline even if she wins, and if it's a non-story.
And therein lies Emma Raducanu.
Yeah.
She could win 7-6 in the third, and the tennis rationale would be that's not necessarily a good sign. That's almost like England beating Slovakia with a last-minute equaliser and then winning in extra time. Whereas the British media would view that as, she's going to win Wimbledon. What an incredible result.
Funnily enough, the first player to win is actually Gracheva over Tsurenko, but Tsurenko did complete the match. Zhu has a match point, but it was Gracheva who was first.
Okay.
And Sakari is very close to, Yastremska is very close. So there are like 4 women's matches which seem to be very lopsided at the moment. But yeah, Gracheva was actually first over Tsurenko. It just wasn't because of a retirement or anything like that.
What about not Zhu and Begu? That's not finished yet?
There's a match point for Lin Zhu.
Okay, she's taking her time.
Yeah. She lost 3 games in the second set. Horrible. Absolutely horrible effort. Yeah, I think she was 6 love, 5-1 up, and it's just been getting a bit more tricky. So, but yeah, Gracheva is the first player into Wimbledon round 2 on either the men's and the women's side. On the men's, I think still the Dimitrov bet is looking kind of good, but he is about to take the second set. Relatively close to taking the second set. Also, Fonini, if he can break here, he has a break point. Of course, Struff could have been 2 sets to love up. He actually could have been the first player to be 2 sets to love up. But, well, he didn't do it. But I guess it makes sense that Struff Marozsan is like a very fast-paced match, right?
Yes, some of the. I mean, to get to 4-all, in fact, to get to 5-4 as it was, that did seem to happen pretty quickly.
It's 6-5 now, and it's like 35 minutes in the second set.
Yeah.
I watched their match live in Bratislava 2 years ago, and it was a very fast court as well. It's court 1 there, because center court is actually pretty slow for an indoor venue, but court 1 is just so rapid, and I think it was similar. Marozsan actually won that match, which was as a surprise at the time, that in such conditions he was able to handle himself, because up until then he had like 95% matches on clay, and basically, even though he had an indoor run the year before in Italy somewhere, I think maybe in Bergamo or something like that, or maybe in France, definitely late in the year, that was much slower. So if you just put Struff and Marozsan on a super quick court, I was just assuming, it's easy for Struff, but Marozsan actually beat him. But yeah, I think the pace of play in that one was very similar. Both of them just trying to end the point in. Yeah, it was a free setter. I'm just checking that now, and it was an hour 45. So
even just like the breathers between serves, Struff looks like he's in a really big hurry. Right, he's not.
I think both of them, right? They like quick rhythm between the serves. Yeah. They aren't one of these who, like, after every serve will go for the towel. They kind of just like rhythm.
What do you think about Carlos's complaint at Queen's about this? They tried it at Queen's. That's a lovely return from Marozsan, so deuce.
I talked about it with someone on a stream. I don't remember if it was you or someone else, but
I think
I don't
it
know.
was me.
It seemed a little weird to me because, well, it might be an issue on some bigger courts. I think in Queens it's probably acceptable. 25 to me seems like more than enough. You don't need to go to the towel after every point. I don't know.
Yeah, and he was sort of talking about, but if you're at the net and you've got to walk back from the net, I think it's probably just because he lost. And he's not. He's normally very gracious in defeat. So it might be a one-off, but I think if he wins that match, he's not mentioning it.
I don't know. I mean, if he, it's not like he mentioned it by himself, right? I mean, someone asked him about it.
Oh, did they? I thought he brought it up of his own volition, but I could be wrong.
Why would he talk about it if not?
Because he wasn't happy.
If not asked, But like it was during a press conference, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if he was asked about it, but that was my assumption simply because how else would that topic even come up, But yeah, if he mentioned it by himself, sure. But I was just operating under the assumption that he probably didn't.
Matthew here, cynical Matthew. When some players are getting hammered in the early rounds, I always wonder if they're injured, but just turn up for the check.
Well, they have this rule now that if you withdraw and you let someone in, you get like 50% of the prize money. So that's supposed to like stop that from happening, really. And in a lot of cases, it does.
We're into a tie break here between Struff and Marozsan. Struff actually already has a mini break, so he's up 1-love. But Marozsan gets that mini break straight back. 1-all.
Ruth has a break now in the second set. That was a very good block return on the last point. And he is up a set and a break. And, well, I'm getting more and more confident that he will get past this round. I have to look at his draw, to be honest, because I don't remember where it is. But, like, Alex Bolt might be tougher than his second round opponents, if memory serves right. So I don't think it's Liam Brody this time. Yeah, it's Van Asch or Fognini in the second round. So yeah, it's definitely very conceivable for like Casper to make the third round, maybe fourth round. Sonego is pretty dangerous in the third, but
I've got Brody beating Botic, but
I think I went for it too. I just have zero confidence in Brody in Botic right now. I also have zero confidence in Brody, given he's just coming back from an injury. Yeah, but Botic is just I don't think he's coming back. I don't know.
No.
I think we've really seen the best of his game, and then that's why I went with Brody, because I don't know, just doesn't seem like Botic is that strong at the moment at all.
The Munich final, really.
Yeah, kinda. That was the end of it. I mean, I don't think it was necessarily what went wrong and stuff, but it definitely coincided with it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The second Munich final. The first, I mean, he retired in.
Munich or Banja Luka? No, Munich, right? Yeah.
Two years in Munich in a row.
Oh, was that a double fault from Struff? I've got my sound down, but it looked like it. I think he went big again down the tee, which worked for him a couple of games ago. But I think it's 4-2 Marozsan, change of ends. Yeah. So 5-3 here. Marozsan goes down the 2 with a serve. He's going to have 3 set points, is he? Yes, he is. 6-3 for the Hungarian.
Bolt with some chances to break back as well. I think he's 0 out of 5 on breakpoints. This is the 6th chance he gets, and it's going to be a second serve return too. So kind of like a last call if he wants to win this second set and not go 2 sets to love down. He already, of course, has come back from 2 sets to love down in this event against Ridi in the qualies. But Kasper snubs this huge forehand winner down the line. So there's going to be a 7th breakpoint for Bolt.
Oh, Struff thought about coming into the net there, but it didn't matter in the end because Marozsan errs with the backhand into the net. So one of the set points has been saved, 6-4.
So there's still one more on serve for Marozsan?
Yeah. One more on serve for Struff.
For Struff and then Marozsan. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, has he hit that? He has. The drive volley just long, and Marozsan takes the set to 4 in the tiebreak. So we're at 1 set all. And don't forget, of course, Struffy was serving for the set at 5-4. The psychological blow that would have inflicted maybe was carried over into the tiebreak. And Marozsan wins the second set. So we're 1 set apiece.
Pretty crazy point as Kasper saves another break point. That defending with the slice from that backhand corner is definitely not a strength of his. And here he had like a ridiculous decision, you know. Bolt was already approaching, and yet Kasper once again hits the slice. He doesn't go topspin on the backhand for whatever reason. And Bolt really should have had the point, but he actually gets lobbed by Ruud there. And yeah, 0 out of 7 on breakpoints now.
So Coric won the first set over Alves. And Yastremska's yet to get over the line against Podoroska, but she is serving for the match. I'm going to be back in about 2 or 3 minutes.
Okay. 8th breakpoint for Ruud, for Bolt. So I've got something to talk about for sure. Let's see how Kasper handles it. Yeah, really last call for Alex to get something in this set. Again, a second serve too. So, well, he knows this is his moment, and he kind of felt it on the previous breakpoint, it seems. Another good second serve from Kasper, but he actually gets broken this time. Bolt lifts the return backhand pretty deep, and Kasper mishits the forehand completely. So it's 7-6, 3 games all now. And things might still be getting tricky. As I said, Alex Bolt in the qualifying already delivered what was a pretty entertaining comeback against Leandro Ridi. This is just a set and a break down so far, not 2 sets and match point down, but he definitely is a player who has that in his arsenal. Hard to really think Korda won't lose at least 2 sets to GMP. I mean, he might as well win in 3 sets, 7-6, 7-6, 7-6. I don't know. It's really a lottery to me, completely. Probably back for Raducanu stream, says Jake. Hard sausage. sorry, Jane, yeah. Mario's big appearance on the BBC. I don't even know what that is, but well, I guess he appeared on the BBC. I don't know. Were you annoyed they didn't give a free plug of talking tennis by mentioning the Italians glad to work on this platform? Yeah, they should have really then. Yeah, I don't know the story either, but okay. When some players get hammered, yeah, that we already talked about. Why is John so ahead for a change? I mean, not ahead of me because we haven't been watching the same match even. But I guess, it's just Amazon showing it in Germany probably rather than the usual things. But Alex Bolt, that would be a waste. He just broke finally on the 8th chance. And now there's just a couple of like pretty random serve and volley approaches going wrong. And he's 3 breakpoints down. That would be a real waste of that first break he got on Kasper here. What's your plan for this, Alex Bolt? Your plan for this is to land the second serve on the line. That's a decent idea. And Kasper cannot block the return in. So 2 more breakpoints for the Norwegian. almost said Dane because of the Runerud scenario. Comeback on for Dusan, really? Oh, wow. I didn't check the result of that match for a while now. Haven't checked. Also, Jarry heading for an exit. Yeah, I mean, first match since the French. We don't know how serious the illness was. But in general, it's a good matchup for him, right? Just hit a huge serve at the Shapovalov backhand, but I don't know. Maybe he's not ready to play. Not quite ready to play. And Tiafoe heading for an early exit certainly would not be a surprise this year. Kinda needs a full-on reset, it seems, which might happen at some point, and maybe it will not for a while. Anyway, Alex Bolt, another great serve. So just one more breakpoint he has to save right now. Struff already facing breakpoints in the third set, which when John is back, he's probably gonna tell us about that. Yeah, Arnaldi is setting a break up, and Lajovic 3-love up in the third set. Wow, okay. Shapovalov 2 sets to love up. Still, Jordan Thompson hasn't been able to separate himself from Pavel Kotov either, which is kind of surprising. And Alex Bolt gets broken on this +1 backhand. He throws it out. So again, Casper Ruud is up a break. Shang pretty close to leading Garin 2 sets to love up as well. On the women's, we've already had 3 winners: Sakari, Zhu, Gracheva, and Yastremska will be serving for the match after a medical timeout. Pavlyuchenkova also up a set and 3 games on Townsend. Yeah, this was not great from Alex Bolt, definitely. I mean, he just broke. It was so hard for him in the entire match to get a hold on to Casper's serve finally. And then he kind of throws this game away. Well, this point that I'm just watching on replay, sure, it was pretty nice from Casper, but then the 2 after that and also the final error to get broken, just kind of careless, if you may. And he might pay the full price, as he's not going to be breaking Casper every single game. Comeback on for Dusan would be very surprising for sure, given his grass records. Soon arriving on the court, also Shang against Janvier. Very interested in that one. If Maxime can make it a similar serve-botting contest as he did against Giovanni Pecci Pericard in the final qualifying round. Of course, it was Pecci Pericard who landed 44 aces, but Janvier was similarly unbreakable for him. So effectively, they kind of served at a similar quality, which is a big thing in general. I always kind of tend to mention on grass and any other quicker court, really, that like even John Isner can only win 4 points in a service game, right? So if you have a really massive serve, it kind of doesn't matter if you're a John Isner or if you're a, let's say, who is like a really, really good server, but not quite in the same caliber. I don't know, Mattia Bellucci, for example, right? Well, I mean, maybe that example is a little too harsh, but you know what I mean, more or less. Hopefully you do, and if not, it's a shame. I just can't put my thoughts into something understandable. Anyway, Struff actually held that game, okay, and now he has breakpoints on Marozsan. So I guess that match is just as wild as you would expect a battle between 2 players of that sort of game profile to be. And Casper Ruud now 30-love up, really close to taking the second set, going 2 sets to love up. Alex Bolt, of course, as I said, already managed that sort of comeback in this event, but it will be a little tougher probably to do it against Ruud. Although if Reedy and Ruud played on grass, I probably would favor Reedy, so maybe not even tougher. Well, difference of playstyle, difference of kind of shot quality, I guess, as well, rather than just being very well suited to grass and taking the ball early. I don't know. It's different. I guess it's tougher to compare it. Great topspin backhand here from Casper. Cross court, great angle, took it early as well. It's going to be 7-6, 5-3 for Ruud now, as he's kind of cruising towards a 2-set-to-love lead after that previous game from Bolt. Yeah, just wasn't sharp enough after regaining a break. Hopefully we didn't get any more withdrawals, because that would be nasty. Yeah, so far we're good to go, I think. Next in line for the lucky loser spot is David Goffin on the men's side. I honestly have not checked on the women's, but Goffin would be a nice addition to the event. Number 6 would be Damir Dzumhur, though, who retired in the final qualies round, so I'm not sure how fit he is. Probably no one after that is going to be getting in, we can assume. Leandro Riri, the player who Alex Bolt defeated from match point down in the final qualies round, is not that close to making it. Of course, theoretically, it could also be players who lost in the second qualifying round if everyone went in. But yeah, we're not going to get 16 withdrawals, thankfully, unless there's like a pandemic until tomorrow. But yeah, 40-15, Alex Bolt now. Return winner from Casper, likely not going to mean that much in the long run in this game. But after the changeover, Casper should be serving for the set and yeah, just trying to seal a lead that will be very, very meaningful going forward here, even if Bolt has already managed a 2 sets to love down comeback in this event. But first, Alex actually needs to get that game, and it's a crazy point where a net court almost saves Casper route. Does it? No, it does not. But it was pretty funny. Bolt went totally the other way, but he had enough time to recover. He takes the game, and after the change of ends, we're going to have Casper Ruud serving for the second set and serving for 2 sets to love lead. Matteo Arnaldi, that's something that he has now, a 2 sets to love lead. My assessment of Pericard, how far on the current version climb in the rankings, and what aspects of his game do you expect him to improve on in the next 12 months? I think he's already improved the aspects that he could, kinda, because it's probably going to be hard to do something about that backhand in general and that backhand return on quicker courts when there's no time on it. Like, I don't really know if this is improvable, if you look at guys like Shapovalov or Tsitsipas over the years. But yeah, just kind of keep going in terms of the athleticism that he's been building up this year, probably some really good sort of like physical preparation, and in terms of like speed and kind of probably like some small I'm just lacking a word here, but basically some ideas in terms of the training to improve his speed on the first 5 meters or something like that, just some on the first few steps and something like that. That's probably something that he's been working on a lot, and it's definitely given him more regulation in his game. And yeah, just in general, the baseline game when he has time this year has been much, much better. But I don't know if the issues with his returning are really improvable. It's probably still going to be like on grass. He's going to keep playing these lottery matches. We've seen Chris Eubanks, get to the top 30 and win Mallorca and make Wimbledon quarters. I think Petri Pericard can sort of achieve similar-ish results on a more regular basis. So in many ways, he is an improved version of Chris Eubanks. And that's kind of what I think of him. I mean, I don't think he's going to be a slam winner or anything like that. But if he sort of stabilizes around the top 30 level, instead of Eubanks, who just got there and basically looks like his career might be over soon if he loses in their opening round here, then yeah, Petri Pericard has a better chance of stabilizing at that sort of quality. But well, to be honest, the improvement that he made this year was also kind of unforeseeable. So maybe he just surprises us again. But just based on sort of what we're seeing over the years, that backhand and the way it kind of limits his game, especially in quicker conditions, funnily enough, I'm not sure that's something you can do much about.
I'm just sharing a tweet on the screen. For those of you that tipped Arina Sabalenka to win the title, maybe things are going from bad to worse in terms of what she said in her pre-tournament press conference, and then this rather abrupt departure from the practice court. Now, of course, it could be
drill is the word that I was looking for earlier, like practice drill. A practice drill, not a drill in terms of no.
Not a drill as in
yeah.
Hi, Gene, by the way, and do hit the like button, please, Gene. and anyone else. Yeah, so I mean, let's see, but yeah, I'm guessing. Kasparu's 2 sets of love up. Is he okay?
Yeah, Bolt finally broke him, but it was a rebreak, and then he kind of lost the next game pretty carelessly. Like that was what decided the set, really. But yeah, still looks like Kasper should probably make it through to the second round. As I've said a few times now, Bolt already has a lost 2 sets to love down comeback in this very event, but well, we'll see. Maybe he surprises again. It was looking like Reedy might crush him as well, and he didn't. So.
Goff, a tip for the title. I mean, Goff has never been beyond 4th round, I would say. Was it when she beat? When
Goff
she beat
has
Venus?
to go through Keys, Rybakina, and Sabalenka, for example. That's tough.
Yeah, no, she's had easier runs, I would say. I listen. If you said to me another sort of outsider winning the title this year without necessarily naming them, I would be on board for that. Certainly. Pegula, for example, is somebody that, I mean, she's not an outsider, but she's sort of between, in the conversation and then outsiders. She's somewhere
that's actually
in
a
that
good example because that's someone that Coco could conceivably let's imagine the draw opens up, and an example of the draw opening up for Coco would be Jabeur or Pegula in the final. And while I think that she could probably beat Jabeur, given that Ons, has had her final issues, and around Garros, we've seen what happened as well. But Pegula is a pretty big favorite over Goff and Grass to me. They just played, right? And
those two you just mentioned both played Coco recently. Okay, Coco overcame.
But Ons retired after the first set, yeah.
But she had won the first set tiebreak
so well, and I don't know, just with the play style of Pegula, I think she has a really nice matchup against Goff and Grass.
I mean,
so it would have to really open up, I think, for Coco to win, as in even Pegula in the final is probably not someone I would see her winning against. So she's still in the top 10 contenders though, right?
Yeah. I'm just trying to think who else would be. So after, if we just put aside Sabalenka, Rybakina, Swiatek, and Pegula, who would be my next favorite? I mean, I know you've got Keys, and I've got
Madison Keys. Yeah, I think it's Madison Keys.
Oh, somebody asked me about upsetting Keys earlier. It might be Matthew, I'm not sure, but somebody said, "Oh, what happened?" I just asked her if these near misses she has in slams linger, whether she still thinks about it years later or not, or whether she just moves on very quickly from it. And yeah, she didn't like it. So. And then for the next 2 press conferences, she was quite short with me. So I thought it was a fair question. I think if I was I said...
Haven't heard exactly how you asked it, but I would assume so, yeah.
I mean, I'm just basically I asked Tony Nadal the same thing about Rafa's near misses, but the difference is Rafa's had won 22.
Yeah, I think it is a difference. There is potential for that question to be phrased in a way where it would be a little, yeah. So I would have to hear it, but I'm assuming that you phrased it in a way that was.
I think it was phrased okay, and apparently So I got word of the fact that she did. I mean, I could tell that she didn't like it, but I also got it told to me. Without prompting, the press guy just said to me, "Oh, by the way, just take it easy with Madison today. This is the next day, of course, because of that." And but then apparently he also said that Madison was just a bit grumpy that day because there'd been lots of rain interruptions and stuff. But yeah, I certainly wasn't doing it with any. Sometimes when you're doing it, when you're trying to provoke or you're trying to be annoying or whatever, whether it be with a friend or whether it be in a press conference, but. That wasn't my thinking. And I was thinking just if I was a big fan of Madison, that's a question I would like to know the answer to. But it would suggest that there is some scar tissue, although she denied it. She basically said, "No, does it bother you?" She said it to me. Said, "Oh, I don't think about them. Do you still think about them?" And I said, "Yeah, I do." So there we go.
Clara Burel thing is more funny for sure.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. And she also, when I think Struff was broken for 4-2. In a way, part of her annoyance with me that was still lingering a day or so later also gave me a great answer when I asked her what it's like to play Igor on clay, and she said it sucks. And even though it was just sort of a 30-second clip, that was one that went viral. I thought, viral.
Was that Madison?
Yeah, Madison. Yeah, she said it sucks. It sucks.
And that was even before Madrid and Rome, right?
No, that was after Strasbourg.
Strasbourg. Okay, right. Yeah, I forgot. I was thinking of Stuttgart. Yeah, but Keys wasn't in Stuttgart. Yeah, never mind.
Anyway, 4-2, Struff leads here. He's just shanked that forehand. Whenever he does miss like that, it does feel like it's because he's in such a rush. But of course, it's also part of him being in a rush that just probably puts him into these good positions. Anyway, love 30.
Yeah, they both try to do it, right? I mean, they both try to rush as often as possible.
I would have Pegula as a slight favourite, Nerlan. Yeah, I probably wouldn't go big.
Pegula Goff or?
Yeah, Pegula over Goff. Because I think you said a big favourite, and Nerlan said that big is a big word. Well,
maybe I don't know. I just love the matchup. I remember thinking before the Berlin clash that like everything that Pegula does on the court is kind of designed for like a quick, slick surface against Coco. But yeah, I guess second week of Wimbledon isn't really quick or slick. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I can't really like honestly say that Goff has no chance to win the event if Marketa Vondroušová won it last year, right? But she's not in the like top 5 contenders for me.
I mean, but if you said to me a year ago, Marketa Vondroušová has no chance of winning Wimbledon, as funny as that would be, 10 days
I'd
later.
agree. I'd agree.
Right.
I see the irony in this. I wrote something similar like a day or two ago. Basically, it was like a short prediction for Vondroušová against Budas Maneiro. And of course, I did Vondroušová to win. But I was saying something like, so funny enough, last year, no one would have believed that Vondroušová can win Wimbledon. And if she does it again this year, it's going to be just as insane.
Yeah.
Winning Wimbledon last year doesn't really put her in a better position for this year in my mind, which is funny, yeah, for sure.
It's not necessarily funny is the wrong word, but I think the Sabalenka and Vondroušová retirements, they weren't the same day, I don't think, but they certainly came in quick succession in Berlin in terms of being maybe a day or so apart.
There was like 3 retirements in the quarters, right?
Yeah, right. But I think it might be split over 2 days because of the weather. But anyway, what I will say is this: when I saw them both first,
Azarenka retired as well, right?
Azarenka was that sickness, was it? And Jabeur as well. Although Jabeur might
Azarenka retired on the first day of the quarterfinals, and then Sabalenka and Jabeur on the second. And Vondroušová wasn't even in that round, I think.
No, but those 4 anyway happened pretty soon after each other. And the Jabeur one and the Azarenka one looked like, you know what, if this is a Wimbledon quarterfinal, they're not retiring. So I wasn't too hugely concerned about either of those two. In fact, if anything, I think Jabeur, had a good Berlin in many respects. The Sabalenka one and Vondroušová one, I want to compare them because they both happened on the same court, albeit on different days. When Vondroušová retired, I thought, I didn't like her chances, put it that way, of playing Wimbledon 10 days later. It was a hamstring issue, heavy strapping, movement was non-existent in the last game or so, and she was disconsolate as she came off the court. Sabalenka, on the other hand, she seemed to be having some shoulder attention. She still seemed to be serving okay. And when she retired, it's like, oh, first time Sabalenka's ever retired, but probably because Wimbledon is 10 days away from now, blah, blah, blah. And I wasn't that concerned. But how wrong may I well turn out to be if these retweets, by the way, on this tweet from Stuart Fraser, and this tweet in terms of it being believed, then we might not even see Sabalenka take the court. And she did very much, I was going to say hint at it, she suggested it in her pre-tournament press conference. So that would be particularly disappointing for her in the tournament.
Someone just commented on my Twitter, Thompson is losing. And I'm not sure, did I say something about Jordan Thompson? I don't think so, right? Yeah, it's... okay. No, it's under that tweet where I just said that he has 112 pro matches on grass. But yeah, of course, that tweet is just stats. No predictions of any sort. But yeah, I would not be expecting Jordan Thompson to be losing to Pavel Kotov on grass. Although I did think that it was a little too lopsided by the odds. Let's say that. Kotov does have that super flat forehand, which is pretty dangerous. But seemed like Jordan really revived his game after the clay season in Queens. Maybe not. Looks like Luka Van Asch is just getting killed as well. I don't think I can hear you. Oh, okay, I can hear you again.
Struff is up 5-2, and Marozsan is love 30 on his serve. So we could be looking at a third set here for Struff. A drop shot there ended up not working for Marozsan. So we've got 3 set points.
Yeah. Fognini is like really walking over Van Asch, which is what Pui did to him in the qualifying as well. Maybe even to a lesser extent. And Berrettini Fucsovics on the court as well. We'll see if Matteo gets to the second round, which is pretty vital for that Sinner Berrettini round 2 upset.
It might not have. I mean, I think he'll win. And if this was a Berrettini, he'd already... Did he play a grass court tournament warm-up? Did he play Stuttgart, didn't he? No. Yes,
John,
he did.
He was in the final in Stuttgart, and he made the quarters in Halle. He does have really good momentum compared to last year.
He made the quarters in Halle. I don't remember that.
He lost to Garin.
He lost.
Sorry, second. It was second round. Yeah, it was second round. Sorry, yeah.
Struff, by the way, has taken that set by 6 games to 2. I feel as though that second set, the end of it, was just an anomaly regarding this match, and it could well have. There's a parallel universe where Struff is already up 2-0 and a break in the third. Sakkari winning in straight sets over Kessler. Plucky Maria Sakkari is into the second round.
Yeah, I think Kessler was a little too bold of an upset pick, to be honest. Yeah. But of course, yeah, it's not that Sakkari is a very dangerous foe, like in this draw in general. I'm trying to remember where I had her losing. I guess to UA1 maybe in the second round. But yeah, now Raducanu or Alexandrova in the third round. These are also possibilities. I mean, not Alexandrova anymore, but yeah, like UA1 second round, Raducanu third round. Yeah, these are very tough for Sakkari.
Her coaching situation seems to be a bit odd to me. How she was so effusive and excited about her new partnership with David Witt, and now just a couple of weeks later, or a few weeks later,
it didn't work out, right? I mean, was it Tiafoe recently who also got a new coach, and now he's also not working with him for like 2 or 3 months?
A few weeks. Yeah,
it happens. Yeah. And that's going to be 3 breakpoints for Casper Ruud in the third set. Bolt again serving volleying, but just gets caught out by this very like sort of service line return from Casper. He has to have volley, doesn't work out. So 3 breakpoints for the Norwegian, who could go up 2 sets and a break up, which yeah, it would feel like the match is of course very close to being over.
Gene, you're about to reveal your semi-finals. You could also, if you want, you can reveal your quarterfinal if you've got enough space in the YouTube chat message. Just because I've tweeted out my quarterfinals and then final, because by doing so you kind of reveal obviously how your semi-finals are going to pan out.
Yeah, you have both. Keys versus Andreeva. If you believed that Sabalenka was not going to be there, sure.
And they played each other a year ago, didn't they?
Yes,
and you think Andreeva on another?
Andreeva was up by a lot. I don't remember the exact result, the exact scoreline, but yeah. Andreeva was up by a lot, then Madison came back and then lost to Sabalenka, like she kind of tends to do. Or to Świątek on clay.
Keys Andreeva? Okay, so I see why you're prompted by that. Okay.
But yeah, I went Keys to the final, so I definitely don't hate that pick. And Keys also is gonna benefit if Arena indeed is not able to play or not able to play at her very best. Another serve and volley attempt from Bolt. Kasper kind of has some passing shot chances, and he will pass him eventually with the backhand down the line. It was like 2 or 3 shots that he eventually needed to hit, but he does it. 2 sets and a break up. Ruud in a very good position to get to the second round against one of the biggest grass court specialists in the draw.
Oh, by the way, look at this poll I've got on. Can you see the poll I've put on the... I guess
on the screen now?
Redundant now.
I don't see this.
Screen, yeah.
The poll. Where's the poll? Now, okay. Which of the day one matches excites you more? Yeah, that's a shame. But and Jarry Shapovalov is also turning out to be like a little unexciting in general. So
it's difficult to come up with different polls all the time. I mean, obviously, if you've got a match on, it's quite easy. Although with the Alcaraz one, I've just put how far do you see Alcaraz going, including the possibility of him losing in rounds 1 or 2, rather than having who do you think's winning. I just think that's almost an irrelevant poll.
Emma against Alexandrova was definitely one of the best matches of today, but
yeah,
I think that Emma was going to have a very hard time winning it as well, which might be a little controversial.
Yeah. I think it would have been a great match as well, potentially for Emma too. You know, she wins that in 3 sets, and you're like, oh wow, then something might be going on. Whereas if she wins in straight sets today, we'll probably need to wait a couple more matches before we start.
Hilariously, Garin still hasn't broken Shang.
Okay, so Sabalenka has withdrawn.
She has withdrawn.
So that
okay.
Yeah.
So that's that practice was just like her trying, and after a few minutes saying, okay, no shot. Yeah, that's pretty big. Who gets in?
Don't know.
So where did you see that she withdrew? If you didn't see
James Gray, the British journalist.
Erika Andreeva.
Oh, okay. Maybe she'll make. Maybe that's the Andreeva that'll make the semis.
Maybe they will play against one another in the 4th round or the quarters, wherever they are supposed to face. I don't really remember, to be honest, but yeah. The Andreeva sisters clashing, that would be a good story. Fognini up 2 sets and a break as well. And is that Dimitrov serving for the match? I think so. So that Dimitrov prediction might end up being true in the end, even though it's looking kind of shaky as well, given that there is Shang who is close, there's Ruud who is close, there's Fognini, there's Shapovalov. Kotov 2 sets to love up on Jordan Thompson as well. There will need to be like a massive comeback attempt there from Jordan.
What a rough, for someone who's won 2 Grand Slams in the last 18 months, the ones when she doesn't win them for one reason or another have been rough. Coco Gauff, US Open final, Wimbledon against Jabeur. I think it was, she had her chance. I think she was up a set to love. We all know about the Mukova, of course, semi-final. And then this year with the illness that she had in Paris, and now this. Why is my camera not working? Can you hear me, by the way?
Yep.
Okay, good. Just wanted, I could see my camera's not working. I was worried about my mic.
No, the mic is fine.
So that's rough. Ghosty's just joined us. Early morning US time. So yeah, Ghosty waking up to the news that Sabalenka has withdrawn.
That's why you should have changed that bracket, and I should have, but well.
Yeah, I mean, I knew
basically
that
all the women's brackets should be voided. It's kind of true. I mean, it really makes no sense. But if you had to update it every single round, for example, then I would obviously forget about it and I wouldn't have the patience to it. So there's no good option there. But yeah, withdrawals just ruin the whole fun of it completely, because especially if it's players who a lot of users had going deep, right? Because if it's Pablo Carreño Busta, I don't think anyone cares. But if it's Alexandrova or Sabalenka, Madison Keys, even easier to get to the final now. This is your moment, Madison. And then you can tell John Silk to...
Yeah.
It means nothing to you. There's no trauma. What are you talking about? Nothing is lingering. In her trophy ceremony, she's going to mention, recently, I had this journalist ask me in Stuttgart.
Yeah?
Hell, I don't know if he was even a journalist. And she's going to mention that. Yeah. Dimitrov, match point. And Zhang Zhongvier predictably going pretty serve-based so far. It's tough not to root for Marton Fucsovics, but I think today I have to wish that Matteo wins the match, right? Just to see the Sinner Berrettini round 2. Not to take anything away from Marton Fucsovics, as he actually upset a few top 10 guys in his career and usually plays the big guys pretty close, but it's not the same. Sinner Berrettini, Sinner Fucsovics, it's not the same. Sorry, Marton. I hope our friend from Hungary isn't watching.
He occasionally tunes in, but it's sort of twice a year, so I think we should be safe.
Probably, yeah. Although, Keen tuned into that ATP Weekly with Carlos, and the first thing he heard was James McCabe slander from Carlos. So. Carlos had these 2 moments when he really went at it, and yeah, I respect that.
Who was the other one he went for? Don't remember this
now.
Episode,
it was a very similar thing. Like, what are you? Oh, Elias Immer. It was Elias Immer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
We were just sort of going through the draw, talking about Draper playing in round 1, and Carlos is like, Elias Immer, what are you doing in this draw? I think he was just really expecting Shima Bukuro to beat him, I guess, in the final round or something like that. I think he mentioned Shaw a second later. But yeah, to Carlos's basically, let's say Carlos will be pretty happy to know that Elias Immer will not be in the draw for long.
It looks like Nerlan is. Looks like Nerlan is trying to pay you a compliment here, Damien. I don't know if you.
No shot.
Yes, I'm showing it on the screen.
I'm usually at the very bottom of Nurlan's rankings of whatever, so I don't know if I quite believe it.
He wants something, or he's just being random, or both.
I know he actually talks sometimes about my blistering forehand. No, I mean, Jane, people like Carreño Busta. I'm just saying it doesn't impact the predictions whatsoever. Do you think if Casper is not serving well enough, he would be in big trouble against you on grass, considering your blistering forehand? I kind of grew up on grass in the sense that, well, it was an artificial court, but I would assume that it plays somewhat similar. Like I'm fine with lower bounces and stuff. If we played on that very grass court that I sort of grew up on, I think I would have a shot against much better players than me, because they just wouldn't know what's happening for a while. But I think Casper Ruud is a little too good for that. I don't think he quite makes it into that group of better players than me that I could beat on that very court. And also, I haven't played there in a while because they made it very expensive a couple of years ago. And given the quality of that court is Mallorca, Santiago levels, I'm not going to go there anymore.
Lajovic's 4-2 lead didn't last long, and Dimitrov has won that in straight sets. Kasper Ruud up 2-0 and a break. Kostjuk Shramkova have just got underway. Borna Coric is 2-0 up on Alves. Maybe that says more about the Brazilian than it does about Borna. And Shang is serving for the match against Garin. Wow.
He actually might not get broken in the entire match.
Yeah. There you go. Considering he had that break point in the first game, I think I had
that was
Garin
the worst prediction I've ever heard. No, but I also would have expected Garin to like break him like, I don't know, like 5 times. Even if Jarry wins the match in straight sets, I would expect him to get broken like 3 times at least, But
maybe the
maybe
courts
not.
are quick.
Again, maybe that says more about Garin than about Shang.
Yeah. And Kotov is 2-0 up on Thompson. That's one I had Thompson winning. Danilovic, who I think is through as a lucky loser, right? She's already a breakdown to Todani.
Yeah, Todani is a qualifier. Danilovic is a lucky loser, yes.
I don't know what these little purple things mean. Does it mean the most recent point went the way of that player? Maybe.
Purple things?
There's on the score I've got shared.
Uh-huh.
It'll highlight in purple something. And
yeah, I think when a point shows up, just in general, right? When a point is won by someone, I think it's in purple. Yeah, like
and then
Jean Janvier right now, for example, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Marozsan, yeah.
Marozsan, yeah, he's got a game point now. 1-3.
Garin losing in the second round, says Ghosty. I think I had him beating Shang too. I don't remember who he was supposed to play in the second round though.
Maybe the biggest stories so far then have been 2 women who you may well have, 2 women who probably many people had going deep and maybe even beyond are out before even a ball has been hit in terms of their matches, with Alexandrova withdrawing, sorry. Oh, it's a horrible smash there from Struff. And Marozsan has another breakback point. Jedovic for Kina has withdrawn. Jane's asking, why did ADF withdraw?
ADM?
ADF.
ADF.
Alejandro. Yeah.
I don't know. We can try to Google or, Twitter search it.
Mm-hmm.
Back injury, they say.
Oh, he's had a back injury on and off for a few months.
Yeah.
New poll starting up.
That's what Jesus Christ. I want to say that that's what my dad said when he met my mom.
Okay. Better put this in the ticker.
Kasper Ruud just 1 game away, and they're showing me some stats. That he's the highest ranked male Norwegian player. Wow.
Kovacevic and Medvedev just getting underway. I saw some interesting comments from Wim Facet regarding Osaka, and one of the things that he's wanted to change is that she can be in a position to attack, let's say, 3 or 4 slams a year rather than just 2.
Yeah. I don't know if it's that easy, right? I mean, we've seen her peak and play an amazing match against Świątek. But if we're talking about like winning 7 matches in a row on grass clay, she's probably still a bit further away from that. But, this year is a massive improvement anyway, I think, for both.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we'll see how she performs at Wimbledon, but clearly for clay
Mm-hmm.
was a massive improvement. So, well, she's
I've got her
closer
winning
to it than she was before.
I don't think I don't think her draw is great. Obviously, unseeded. Well, she's a wild card, isn't she? I think.
Well, can you remind me who was there, because
I can't.
The men's I know like almost by heart, but the women's no, not really.
Let me have a look. Let me see if I can find her pretty quickly.
I remember who she plays.
I remember her putting her down to win some matches, but I do remember thinking that was a tricky draw.
Yeah, I think I had her winning at least 1 or 2, but I don't remember the details. Where are you in the draw, Naomi? I can't see her now. Oh yeah, Diane Perry, Emma Navarro, second round, Wang. Yeah, I remember now. Okay, I was chatting about this with Vanch. I had her losing to Pliskova in the third round.
Let me see. That might be where I've got her going out.
Might not be Pliskova though in your bracket, because that Pliskova is in the deadly section with Azarenka, Stevens, and Schneider. So,
okay, I think I might have Schneider.
That one is like, yeah, all 4 players have a very good chance of making it. So.
No, because Osaka plays Schneider in the first round, so I must have. No. What am I talking about?
Pliskova plays Schneider. Osaka plays Diane Perry.
Mm-hmm. Let me see. Do I have a beaten Schneider or not? No. Oh. Yeah, I do. I've got a losing to Coco in the 4th round.
Osaka?
Yeah, but she could win that. I mean, she could win all of those first 4 matches, but she could also lose them all. Not that you'd get a chance to lose 4 matches at a Grand Slam, but or any tournament for that matter.
Yeah, you can lose 2, I guess, at the very like the most you can lose is 2. Yeah.
Yeah, 2. Yeah, but you still don't win the title. Yeah, but yeah. Struff held serve, by the way, and he's at 4-2. And yeah, Casper Ruud is 2 points away from winning the match on the Bolt serve at 3-5. And Shang is serving for the match deuce. 2 hours on the clock.
Ooh, Bolt trying to be fancy here, just like completely wrong foot route with this longer slice, but it's out. So it's going to be a match point for Casper. He like barely got the return back over the net, and well, it was enough to win the point somehow.
Ghosty's just realizing that Korda's opponent has changed.
Yeah, maybe, and it's even worse, Ghosty. So you kind of have to be happy about it, given your Korda campaign, because I think Pechi Pericard is much more dangerous. Zero rhythm, tie breaks everywhere. I really have no idea if Korda gets through that. If he does, he'll probably go relatively deep, but at least to the 3rd round, where he would have Tsitsipas.
I'm not quite sure I understand this question. We often see ATP players change their returning positions. What, change over the course of a match, change over the course of their career, change to their opponent? And the other thing I don't understand is when they change, sometimes they might come in. Often you'll see players that are renowned for deep return positions start off with that deep return position, and then if anything, their alteration is to come in when maybe the match isn't going the way they want it to. Whereas not to give themselves more time, actually to give themselves less. As well, when they get a better feel of the ball, better feel of the match, probably feel a bit more confident as well. So I'm not quite... Do you understand this question from Nurlan better than I do?
Haven't looked at it yet, to be honest. I will now.
So
we see a lot of ATP players change their returning position to give themselves more time when they are returning. Senior Carlos and other. So, like, what's the question? I don't even know.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't see. I don't see the question. Is what I'm trying to say.
Because he says, I have a technical question for you, is what he says, and then he goes on with that. But
yeah. I guess I just see that. I just don't see the question here.
No, I would say it's the other way around anyway. I see more often than not, players will start with a deep return position, give themselves time, even no matter what the surface is, but particularly on, well, hard and clay. And then they might tweak that by coming in a bit if the match is going, particularly if the match is not going as they want to, but also if they just feel a bit more confident. I mean, I'm thinking even on grass. I'm thinking about Alcaraz coming in a lot on the Novak.
On grass, you wanna stand closer. I mean, otherwise you're just gonna get wrecked probably.
Yeah.
Both saves the third break point. But yeah, I mean, at amateur level that never really happens. But I actually remember I played a match like this where I was just getting blown off the court by the guys serving the second set. So I went like 2-3 meters behind the baseline, and I won the next two like 6-1, 6-1, I think.
So you went. You did go back.
Just give yourself more time.
Yeah, I find
yeah. I mean, I went back because, as you know, after playing me, like I generally return, like Garin Garcia, like that's usually where I stand. Because at amateur level, you can pull it off. Like no one at our level serves well.
No.
So you can easily pull it off, and you can just take time away with that so easily. And yeah, I had this one match where I just wasn't getting any action on it. I was just like not getting to the serves really. I don't think he was like playing aces really. I just couldn't control the return, so I went back, and that's something that Garin Garcia does not do. But yeah, I still don't know what the question was really. But
well, this is the funny thing in the chat. The most amusing thing is the responses to Nurlan's question. Ghosty says, "What's Nurlan's question?" Sean says he gave the answer to a question.
Yeah, like it's like Jeopardy, right? Nurlan gave us the answer to the question, and I have to say, what is? I don't know.
Do you feel like Iga should try? So this is where he's obviously going with it. He's obviously thinking about Iga. He's got an Iga's on his.
He mentioned ATP players as well, right? Which I mean, WTA they do it too, but maybe that was the basis. That maybe he was thinking on the WTA they don't do it as often. Maybe they don't have to because the other players aren't serving as big, right? Some players probably should from time to time, like I don't know, Caroline Garcia, right? That's a big topic always with her, whether she sometimes should be mixing it up.
Match point Struff. I will come back to this in a second regarding returns because I think Nurlan's got a return thing on his mind because he was going crazy in a good way about Raducanu.
Okay, so it is about Iga. A little further from the base that returns, it's a little hard to return grass.
Forehand return is into the net from Marozsan, and Struff is through in 4 sets. Made it a little bit harder for himself than he should have done when he was trying to serve out the second set. But Jan-Lennard Struff is into the second round with his blonde bleached hair.
We'll see who she plays, Nurlan, but like if she's playing like her usual brand of tennis, then she needs to be pretty close to the baseline because the return is such a huge strength for her, right? But if she gets into like Alexandrova is out of the event, but let's imagine she runs into a big server like Garcia in the fourth round, is it? Yeah, fourth round or third round, I don't know. Yeah, fourth round, I think. Then maybe she can kind of tweak with that, but then again, after the second serve, she still wants to be crushing returns. We've seen her play Garcia a few times already, and usually the second serve of Świątek was just as vulnerable as the Garcia second serve. And to that, she kind of has to be inside the baseline. I don't know. I think it's a very specific thing. Like I'm not even sure it's surface specific. If anything, players tend to return closer to the baseline on grass than further away from it, just because of how the surface works, and like you don't want to give your opponent a chance to wrap up the point so quickly. You don't have that chance to get back into the point, to get back to the baseline like you can on clay. So if anything, on grass, players tend to stand even closer to the baseline. So I think if it's going to be a factor for Iga, it's probably going to have to be on like a match-to-match basis rather than, okay, so on grass, I'm going to be further back. Usually that's not a good idea on grass.
So Struff Marozsan is done. I don't know what's going on with Minnen and Watson, actually. Maybe
I kind of forgot that much exists, given we have like 20 courts.
Yeah, me too.
At the same time.
I think it must have finished. Monfils is underway against Manarino.
Yeah, he had Minnen won in 2 sets.
Did she?
You sound disappointed.
No, just just disappointed that it slipped me by. No, I'm not. I like both players, really. I like both people in a way. Heather Watson, unfortunately, the ship has probably sailed in terms of like a semi or something like that at Wimbledon. I think she's been to the fourth round.
Probably. I don't know. I'm not really sure, but doesn't seem like she'll be getting back up there.
Jarry Shapovalov, is that still going? Because I know Jarry was in big trouble.
Then it's won in 3 sets.
So that's done. Garin, Shang. Is that done yet?
Yes, Jarry won without getting broken.
There you go. So the 4 matches in our title are all done. We can stay live for another 5 or 10 minutes, but it would make sense, therefore, to
you didn't put Bolt Root in the title?
No, is that not finished yet?
2 points away.
All right. Well, we'll certainly stay live until that finishes, unless it goes to 5 sets. Well, even then we might. But
yeah, I think I'm fine with finishing after Bolt Root.
Yeah,
for sure. Speaking of Janvier Ghosty, I think he's very talented. Just kind of the body and the mind doesn't hold up. Like if you just watch him on a good day and he plays this like crazy style of tennis where he's just slamming every ball really, but the ball striking talent is insane. I've never seen him without tape on his knees though. He's like really fragile, both mentally and physically. Still like, you know what, like 170 career high or something like that is pretty stupid for him, I think, with his potential. He has I think only 1 challenger title as well, beating Tsitsipas in the final years back. But yeah, I'm really glad that he qualified, kind of the first time he went in on his merit, because earlier than this, he only had 3 main draw appearances at slams, and that was all Roland Garros with wildcards. Of course, beating Pecci Pericard in the final round kind of made it like a serving lottery, and he's got a good chance against Zhang today to do it. I think Zhizhen won the first set in a tiebreak, but that's not a bad sign. And I actually watched their match live as well, Zhang Janvier, 2 years ago in Kozerki, and it was pretty hilarious because Janvier, like Zhang for a set, was uber confused, because that was when Zhang was having his rise and he was so good at the time. And basically, he couldn't play against someone who was hitting the ball even more powerful than he. Like he was just so. It was such a weird thing for him, because he was used to the fact that he's just slamming the ball harder than anyone else, and suddenly he comes up against Janvier, and he doesn't know what to do because the other guy is hitting even more aggressively for somehow. But yeah, eventually he managed to turn the match around. He made the final in that event, and well, rest is history. But yeah, if he can just get it to tiebreaks, Janvier, I think he has a very solid chance. Of course, losing that first set in the tiebreak is pretty brutal there for him. I think there's going to be maybe a challenge here in that Bolt Root game, as Alex had a break point and he hit this short angled forehand that likely would have won him the point eventually. He challenges, but it's out. So again, 2 points away, Root. He's kind of getting 2 points away, 2 points away. I think he had a match point already as well, but kind of struggling not to get broken here at the moment.
Michael Stich is on the team for Amazon Prime.
I thought for some player, maybe, when you said on the team.
No. Yeah, okay, yeah.
And it's going to be a match point now for Casper Ruud. Which one? Oh, 5th match point, right? Because he had 3 in the previous game as well. Yeah, I was just thinking about this one. But yeah, 5th match point for Casper. Kind of just wants to go home already and reset before the next round, which is going to be Fabio Fognini for him. As Fognini, I think, smashed Van Asch off the court. not too surprising, but then again, I mean, at Fabio's age, at this stage of his career, just playing 3 good sets in a row is pretty rare for him, I suppose. So it's also not like a complete non-story, definitely not. And Bolt approaching the net, nice stop volley. It's gonna once again take him to deuce. So 5 match points saved already by the unsinkable Australian, apparently, because in the final qualifying round he saved 1 match point against Ridi as well. So that's now 6 in the event, and he's still in it. He's not gonna match Otto Virtanen, who has 8 match points saved in the event, and he's still in it. But maybe he can match him. I mean, just two away. Kind of getting impatient, Ruud, and just trying to wrap this up without getting into any unnecessary stuff. Yeah, Bolt getting that forehand on the stretch wrong again. I don't want to be like unpleasant or anything, but well, the fitness of Alex Bolt is also a bit of a question mark always, especially the last few years. And it does hurt him in matches like this. And obviously on any other surface than grass, it's even worse. And it's a big serve for Casper. I don't think the return makes it over the net. So it is Casper Ruud progressing 7-6, 6-4, 6-4 over Alex Bolt, one of the biggest grass specialists in the event. Casper winning in 3. And yeah, as I said earlier, I think that getting through a few rounds just like purely on the quality of Casper's serve and forehand alone, it's possible. And especially now that he's like kind of more aggressive this year, just has a different mindset. Hopefully he has a different mindset for grass as well, because the last few years, obviously he was just like, well, he didn't care for the surface. He didn't care for playing on it. He didn't really mind losing even sometimes, I would say. And if he just puts his mind to it, I think making the second week, making the third round, very possible. Played a good match today, I think. The backhand slice defense just looks insane. Like you know, you look at that guy and you wouldn't think he's a top 10 player at all. But of course, that's not something he goes for on other courts at all. Like he literally has he doesn't have that in his arsenal really. So well, I can't really blame him for it, but if he can tune that in as well during the week, that would be really nice. And well, we'll see how Sonego potentially maybe in the third round would battle him. That could be like a 50-50-ish match on grass. Fonini, I think he probably should beat, right? I mean, just he has a lot more weapons than Van Asch, and just physically, he's going to be much stronger. Because even Van Asch was supposed to be stronger physically than Fonini, but I guess it doesn't matter if you get blown off the court in an hour and a half. I just don't know if Casper will get blown off the court in an hour and a half. Probably not. He just has, I mean, especially the serve is just too good for that.
Okay, well, fairly comprehensive end to the first show of the day. Where we did cover all the matches in the title. We also just got the conclusion there of Casper Ruud's straight sets win over Bolt. So that is finished with Casper Ruud progressing to round 2. Minnen beat Watson in straight sets. Shapovalov also won in straight sets over Nicholas Jarry. Struff needed 4 sets to beat Marozsan to progress to round 2. And Shang has knocked out the Chilean and former Wimbledon quarter-finalist was Garin, or 4th round?
Quarterfinalist. Yeah, 4th round in 2021, quarterfinalist in 2022. Just two things on the chat. I mean, Keen, I don't know about that Basiashvili fix. I know what you mean, but I mean, he retired later there, right? So maybe he just wasn't fit. I don't know. And also, yeah, that's a very funny comment from Ghosty about Jouvier. Broken joints check, slaps the hell out of the ball check, mentally compromised check. Yeah. If you like all these things, Maxime Jouvier is definitely the player for you. And if you like players, well, if you're not frustrated by players who only really do their best in like 5 events a year, that is also a requirement if you want to follow Maxime Jouvier.
And probably the biggest stories really of the day will have been the withdrawals of Alejandro Davidovich Fokina, Katarina
Fokina, that's not even today. That was yesterday.
Oh, was it yesterday? Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
But Arina Sabalenka was very much today. Arguably the favorite. I don't know who the bookmakers had as favorite. Maybe because of her comments a couple of days ago, she did slip down the favorites, but she was my tip to win the title. So that is already in tatters. And get well soon, Arina Sabalenka, in terms of the shoulder injury that flared up in Berlin. So yeah, that brings today's first show of the day anyway to a close, and we look forward to Carlos Alcaraz beginning his Wimbledon defense against Marc Layal, the Estonian, on centre court, which will be coming up in a few minutes with Eddie and Matt. So now I'm going to click. Hi, Julian. Julian, I think this is the second time you've joined us just as we're about to finish a show, but you're very lucky, Julian, because in 5 minutes, there will be another one. And I think when I click end stream on this, it'll actually redirect you to the Alcaraz-Layal match. So I'm not going to click end stream, but in the meantime, you know the drill.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.